In the century of fumes, the city was full of tin can men who cracked their morning eggs on their foreheads. Often a wife watched the yolk slide down her tinny man's face into the pan where it squealed and blackened. The men liked the smell of it burning and filled themselves with that smell of smoke coiled inside their tin can rib cages, pythons in those tin can throats. In the century of mute tongues, women sucked stingers from garden bees. They stung themselves once before bed, twice in the morning sun. Wordless, they made enemies of their venomous men who took mute tongues for happy ones. In the century of new skin, children split like bad cells into a frenzy of more children. The city squirmed with them, an ant-laden peony sinking into its grass, blooming black from black. In the century of birthmarks, parents held their newborns up to the sun and read the shadows cast through them like runes. They found tableaus in blood, each life sketched in blue lines along the arms and thighs. But if their veins sang of ruin, babies were marked with anklets to tell each doom apart. Slow-borns from old-borns, from ill-borns, from cold-borns, from those whose blood refused the light. In the century of lunch pails, the city sprouted silver flues like glistening ears on a wrinkled tuber, which listened as coverlets of wind cut from the sky dropped through them. Everywhere the chew of pipes branching through copper soil could be heard. Everywhere the groan and whistle of liquid aluminum churning the river to a radiant loam. Everywhere the whispered ticks of fingers, every hand a clock, and every evening the clinking ever nearer the doorstep of coins in all the hollowed out fathers as they walked. In the century of silences, production of words was cut to save money. First, adverbs and adjectives became seasonal, but never returned. Then transitive verbs, nothing an object anymore. Eventually, the city was down to just nouns and connective threads, a tapestry already half unraveled. After layoffs, only prepositions and articles remained, like baby aspirins held tenderly on infant lips. Expressions of love balanced awkwardly on the tongue, the A above a the, with a beside underneath the toward, and after behind the before. When the plant closed, no exclamations were heard, but the city opened with the pink of 1,000 gape mouths, all of its citizens miming themselves. In the century of mandatory crying, it was decreed that the solution to dirty water was a salt washout, a man-made flood, 1/2 hour daily for the average citizen, but mothers whose children admitted to panning the river for secrets were expected to weep through entire days. Wet spots on the fresh bed sheets, salt stains on the polished mantle, little drops on the dinner fillets. In the century of rust, the city's shoulders glittered with fiery dust. Dramatic, wind-driven, it cloaked every citizen and found its way into each of the body's hollows. It fell from their mouths in scabs when they sang too loud, yawned too long, or sighed too heavily. It left iron-orange streaks on their tongues when they kissed, so it was always apparent when two had been kissing. Nightly, they had to brush their hands along each other's spines just to keep their backs from rusting out. That stuff, mothers would say to one another, will eat through anything. Okay, so now I'm going to read a couple of new poems, newer than the Rusted City, that I think if the Rusted City poems fit the Get Out of Dodge theme, because perhaps perhaps the rest of the city is the kind of dodge one might want to get out of. These poems fall into that category as well. They're from a series based on towns with weird names.
Ohio is full of them.
Yes, I don't think I have the one about the Ohio town that I found, which was Honesty, in Honesty, Ohio. Seemed like an opportunity. I'm not going to read that one, but I am going to read a couple others. They're all real towns. I haven't been to any of them, but hopefully one day. Self-portrait in between Georgia. In between, one finds a field of empty eyelids, an orchard of four-finger hands, split trunks, and climbing them our slew of awkward kids. Not quite anything yet. We never are 26 in between, only halfway to 27 or 5/4 past 25. The children in between don't feel strongly. They wish, they wash, they lack conviction. But one could say their grandmothers remind each other they are going places. In between, our infants turn like clock hands in their sleep, great toes grazing wooden pegs, ticking crib bar to crib bar. They refuse empty spaces and the settlement of limbs, deadly and comfortable as even numbers. In the hour after copper pupils emerge in the yard and before the green street lamps click off below their bedroom windows, betweens mothers dream. We have only ever wanted to get to this Georgia, or the lesser known that. Often we are caught for days in the gloam of our waking. Self-portrait in Only Tennessee. Tell me how he held his gun, girl. The only grip steady enough to lift your skirt by the same angle your stepfather worked the day he pointed your mother's face to the sky, anchored you on his back, and left her neck craned in prayer, mouth cocked, their only baby suckling the bullet inside. The only conclusion you could come to about Tennessee men, don't let them touch you. A lesson learned only after that first pretty boy pushed through, he like an augur and you with that hole in your icy chest from which any number of slippery dreams could be pulled, gutted, and slapped in the skillet to hiss beneath the wooden spoons of your mother, despairing in their pitcher on your lonely stove, your only son born like a beautiful scab on the wound. Self-portrait in Hurt, Virginia. I was born a fleck of mill trash, bedded in a black hill, a cry stoppered with crabgrass. I was born still, a stick in the stuck mud drift of land called Virginia. I was born among a clutter of cats and tongues sloughing a crust of coal spit from their coal-bit teeth. I was born an apology. I was born with a gift for gall and grift, late to a woman with hands as slick as her knickers. I was born a breadcrumb in a trail of fathers leading out of our clapboard house. I was born a tawdry dress my sister wore for prayers and hollers until it was torn from her hips and a kernel of baby shook loose, my sister's skin wrapped around his like a noose. You'll never tell home from hurt, my daddy said. His mouth was a curse placed on my